Well, good afternoon, everyone. As you can probably tell by the sound of my voice, I'm still fighting the sinus thing. Anyway, that's life. And as you can tell, I'm in the truck. But what you can't tell, you can probably see it's nice and sunny, but it's warm out. Let me see. Well, I can't tell. Just before I came outside, I checked the weather channel on the old internet, and it says it's 52 degrees here, and probably right. Feels pretty good, looks pretty good. That all is not exactly what I'm on here to talk about today. More information about this bird flu as it pertains to, I guess, my part of Missouri. I was just reading an article from a local online news source. I can't remember who, but they were talking about this bird flu thing. And in Newton County, Missouri, Newton County, just one, and that's 2 counties south of me. I live in Barton County, and then there's Jasper County, and then Newton. They are killing 2.7 million chickens. 2,700,000 chickens. And I'm sure that's just a round number. And there's more. And they are also killing 44,000 turkeys in Newton County. That's just one county here in Missouri. And so far, from what I'm seeing, that's where it's been kept. And the article went on to talk about there's been 64 cases nationwide of humans having tested positive for this bird flu. And they were all the majority of them were working in large poultry producing operations. I mean, they probably deal with thousands of birds in a relatively small space. And then there was another next largest group. There was 2 groups that mainly this fell in. That was the first one. The second one is large dairy operations. And I don't know what they consider a large dairy operation, but I would say they probably got hundreds of cows that they're milking every day. And they produce tons of manure. And then one case was of a person that had a large flock of chickens. They said in their backyard, which, I don't know. I don't know the situation on that one. What do they consider large? I mean, and for me, it brings up more questions than it does answers. But anyway, okay, how much room did these chickens have? Did they have access to clean, grassy areas? Are they all just combined in one small pen? Were they in a house only? But anyway, I probably won't know that answer. So there's an old slick-tailed possum crossing the road there. Them things are thick up in here. But anyway, I don't know. This may just be my conspiracy mindset. I don't know. But chicken has historically been the cheapest protein source. I mean, chicken's always cheaper than beef or pork. And it's easier to raise. There's reasons why it's cheaper. But it seems interesting to me that they're the ones having this issue. And here's something to think about, I believe. It's the big producers. These CAFOs, Confined Animal Farming Operations. I think that's what that stands for. But they have these large buildings. Just go look up a commercial chicken operation on the old internet. Excuse me. I'll be glad when this stuff has run its course. But anyway, just go check it out. Do your own research. Don't take my word for it or anybody else's. Check several sources, and that's where all this information comes to me. It's several different sources, and that's why I feel confident putting it out here. Well, we're all worrying about the big football game or the deportation of illegal immigrants and whatever you think about that. We've got this problem with our food system. I listened to a very good podcast last night. Patrick Bet-David, the PBD podcast. And PBD is a pretty interesting guy to begin with, but this one he had Dr. Paul Saladano, I think I'll have to check, but anyway, Paul Saladano, he's a doctor, has done and research on nutrition, real research. And my takeaway on it, the thing that stuck with me the most, the whole thing was very interesting, but what stuck with me is he said, pick up a food product, any product, and if there's anything in there that your great grandmother would not recognize, then you probably... Okay, I'm gonna repeat that because I bumped something. Shut this off. But anyway, Dr. Paul Saladino said that when you go to the grocery store, pick up the food that you're wanting to buy, you're pondering purchasing, and read the ingredients. And if there's anything in there that your grandmother would not recognize, don't eat it. It's probably not good for you. And the things you should be buying at the grocery store are just single ingredient products. Meat. Now, he did say he's a proponent of raw milk, as am I, and especially the A2A2. A2A2 are proteins that are in milk from certain cows. Not necessarily, certain breeds tend to have it more than others. I'm going to try to make this quick so we don't get off on a rabbit trail that I didn't intend on, but at one point in time, all milk was A2A2 protein milk. Now there's people out there saying, no, it's no big deal, it doesn't matter. I think it does. I've mentioned before that, the number one farmhand is drew a blank. On the autism spectrum. That's it. Well, that's not, he is on the autism spectrum, but that's not the point. He had a thyroid issue, and for years we were going to the doctor. He had to take medication, and I had read that this A2A2 milk will help. So, as we don't have a local to us raw milk source, we did the next best thing. I found out that Brahms, the burger joint, ice cream place, whatever you call it, sells A2A2 milk. So we started buying our milk there, and he was drinking by himself almost 2 gallons of milk a week. We switched to A2A2 milk. He said he liked it just as well, but he wasn't craving it nearly as much. And his next appointment, he no longer had a thyroid issue. Now, granted, he was in his teens by then. Maybe his body had somehow corrected itself. I don't know. But they took him off the meds, and we only go through about 1 gallon of milk a week now. But anyway, I think the answer to a lot of these food problems is something I mentioned quite often. Buy as local to you as you can get. I mean, if you have diabetes issues, listen to this podcast. It's, like I said, it's the PBD Patrick Bet, B-E-T, hyphen David podcast. But it's PBD podcast. And it was the one they put out yesterday. Got tons of great information. I believe. You know, you go and you listen to it. It's fairly lengthy. So set yourself aside some time to listen to it. You know, if you're taking a long trip, put it on and listen as you drive. There's also a video that you can watch. It's the same thing, you know. As I was at work, I couldn't sit down and watch the video. I listened to it as I worked. I found that's the best way to educate myself, is, you know, because I've got 8 hours that doesn't take a lot of brain power. You know, cleaning doesn't take a lot of brain power, so I can listen to something and do my job. So that's what I do. But anyway, to wrap this video up, expect chicken meat prices to go up. Your poultry go up here shortly. I mean, the 2.7 million birds from one county in Missouri. Yeah, that's a lot of birds. And that also tells you how much chicken we eat in this country. But anyway, I hope that this information has helped somebody, and use it how you want. I highly suggest you go check out, like I said, the PBD podcast. I listen to him quite often. Usually it's about politics, current events, but he had this doctor on last night, and it was really good. Another good source that I use a lot, the Beyond Labels podcast with Joel. Again, I'm drawing a blank. Joel Salatin and Dr. Sina McCullough. Dr. McCullough is a research doctor, and They have some very interesting stuff. And they mostly do regenerative farming and health issues dealing with food. And Dr. McCullough has a very interesting past and that led her to researching food and how it affects your life. So that's, if you're interested in that stuff, those are good resources. Also, the Weston A. Price Foundation, they're online. They do have a YouTube channel, but they don't seem to update it very much. And Mary Fallon, she works with the Weston A. Price Foundation. All good sources for food information. So I'm almost where I need to be now. We got a lot of sickness going through the school. What I'm going through doesn't have anything to do with what's going through the school. I'm just hoping that me fighting this doesn't compromise my immune system so much that I catch that, because I don't want that. I got a co-worker, she's not going to work tonight, so that's 2 nights in a row, and she doesn't miss work. She don't like it. She's here. So anyway, take care of yourselves, and as always, let's look out for each other. Let's help each other when we can, and don't forget to pray. Later.